Good afternoon, world. It is moments past noon in Waxahachie, Texas, deep in the heart of the Lone Star State. Today is November 13th, the 107th episode of Grit and Good News. And as always, we're broadcasting from our studio in downtown Waxahachie in the shadows of the historic Ellis County Courthouse. I'm your co-host, Jeff Lynch. Sam is at the board, taking care of all of our complicated techno issues that we have today. That's
Always
Sam
something.
Brooks, and to my right is our man, your man, my friend, yours.
Thank you,
Matt
bud.
Brooks.
Thank you all for being here. It is Thursday, November the 13th. It is a beautiful day outside in the 70s. I think it's going to be that way for the next week or so, and then we'll get a little bit of rain. But at some point, the hammer's going to come down, and it's going to be like it was earlier this week, but all the time.
We had that little teaser.
Yeah, so I changed out all my polos and all that stuff, and put in all my hoodies and all my quarter zips and all that out of my closet. It's a rite of passage every year,
Right.
twice a year.
Right
And
here.
so I did it last week. But we're glad you're here. It is a beautiful day in Waxahachie, Texas. So for those of you that are in Waxahachie, you already know that. For those of you that are watching from across the country, I hope it's nice where you are as well. We do this show every Tuesday and Thursday from noon until 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. For those of you that don't know, Waxahachie is a 50,000 population communities about 30 minutes south of Dallas, Texas. Matter of fact, from here to Love Field is exactly 30 miles. And thank goodness, because we can catch a flight out of there quicker than going to DFW, which is a lot farther, right? And much more traffic stress. We do have an issue today with our monitors that you see in front of you. Normally we can see them and communicate and all that sort of thing, but for some reason there's a little glitch. We don't know why that happened.
So
Sammy's
our
got
monitors are up, but what are they?
no, they can see everything.
Okay.
But I mean, they can see our monitors on the camera. Yeah, we can't see what you're saying. So if you're commenting, which we love when people comment, Sammy will tell us all about it. So there you go. Let me give, today is our 107th show, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
we have number 7. Sammy, one of his duties is to go and find the number 7s of well-known athletes across all professional sports. So since there are no 107, number 107 at quarterback or whatever position, Sammy's doing number 7. So Sammy, what do you got?
All right, starting off with afternoon. Terry says afternoon.
Okay. Hey, Terry.
Starting with NFL.
Okay.
I'm sure you can guess.
Well, we got John Elway.
Yeah,
Got Michael Vick.
Don't give it up. Don't give it
Okay.
away.
Okay. What
John,
you said?
John Elway,
Mm-hmm.
Ben Roethlisberger,
Yep.
Gentlemen.
Joe Theismann,
Yep.
Mel Hein. Do y'all know that him? 1931 to 1945.
Just a little before my day.
He was a center. And then we got Patrick Peterson, the cornerback. He's current for the Vikings. Craig Erickson, quarterback for the Dolphins. Michael Vick, and then we end with Bijan Robinson.
All right. Yeah. Current number 7 for the Falcons. Yeah. All right.
NBA, 1.
Number 7, Tony Kukoc.
I do not have that person.
The Chicago Bulls. I thought he was number 7. He was the
left-handed,
tall left-handed guy from wherever over in Europe.
Yeah,
like crazy.
I do not have. I have Kevin Durant. He wore 7 for the Nets. Carmelo Anthony.
Melo.
Kyle Lowry. Chauncey Billups wore it for the Nuggets. Nate Archibald.
Yeah, little guy.
Yeah, and then
Austin.
Pete Maravich.
Yeah,
Pistol
Pete.
Jaylen Brown. He's current for the Celtics.
Yeah.
Joe Johnson. And then I end with another current one for the Golden State Warriors, Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
Was that Archibald the son of Tiny Archibald?
No.
I think Nate's nickname was Tiny, wasn't it?
Oh, no. You said Nate Archibald?
Yeah.
No, they're not related.
Okay.
But they were both real short guards.
They're two different people?
If you're talking yeah.
Oh.
Tiny Archibald.
I'm talking about Nate Archibald. I thought that was his nickname, Tiny.
Well, it probably is. I don't know which one he's talking about, but Nate Archibald, didn't he play for the Knicks? I can't remember, but
I don't know.
Anyway. Okay, what else?
All right. MLB.
Number 7, well, we know Mickey Mantle.
Okay.
Did he wear 7?
He did.
Yeah.
He did. So yeah,
Where is he from?
He played for the Yankees.
Where is he from?
Dallas.
I don't know.
Oklahoma.
Okay.
Oklahoma. So we got Mickey Mantle. We got Joe Marr for the Twins.
Yeah.
Craig Biggio for the Astros. Ivan Pudge Rodriguez
Yep.
for the Rangers. Matt Holliday,
Yep.
for the Cards. And Bobby Witt Jr., current for the Royals.
Yeah, he is.
And who's his son?
Who,
What?
Bobby Witt?
Yeah.
Bobby
Yeah.
Witt's too young.
No, Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
Junior.
saying he's too
Okay.
young to
I
have. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
was
Talking
N-
thinking
about
of his
senior.
yeah.
Yeah.
NHL, do you have any guesses there,
I don't.
Jeffrey?
I got a flock of them. We start with Phil Esposito, who was like the first guy ever to score 76 goals. He had a brother named Tony, who was a left-handed goalie for the Blackhawks, and he co-founded the Tampa Bay Lightning. Then he was their first president, then their first general manager, and now at age 83, he's their color commentator. And he was a stud for the Bruins. We got Howie Morenz with the Montreal Canadiens, Ted
Mhm.
Lindsay with Detroit, and he was a great guy in a tough one, tough one. Rod Gilbert with the Rangers, and Neil Broughton wore 7 for both the North Stars and the Dallas Stars. And the thing is, 7 is so 7 is retired for Broughton. It hangs at the AAC. 7's retired in most franchises that have been around any length of time. So you don't have a lot of current players. You do have Dougie Hamilton and Brady Kachuk.
Okay.
Good job,
Cool.
yeah.
Anything else, Sammy, on
That's
there?
it.
All right. There you go. We'll have
Aren't you glad I said Kachuk for you?
Yeah.
we'll have number 8 on Tuesday. Couple things on the update. We will we will not have shows the week of Thanksgiving or the week of Christmas. So we usually every year we don't print a printed edition of the Sun during Thanksgiving or Christmas. The idea there is to give our staff plenty of time to be with their families and that sort of thing. So we will not have shows the week of Thanksgiving and the week of Christmas, and we'll mention that again as we move closer to those dates. A couple of other updates. We know the shutdown is now in the rearview mirror for about 2.5 months until this nonsense circus, whatever you want to call it, starts over again, because the deadline on this continuing resolution is January the 30th. There's so much to talk about. I don't know if either of you saw Trump speak last night from the Oval Office, and had what he had to say about the shutdown. But essentially, what's happened here is that the shutdown was being held up primarily because of Obamacare subsidies, and because the left wanted illegal immigrants to also get insurance via Obamacare, and the conservatives in the House are saying, "No way, we're not gonna spend that money on those sorts of things." The Obamacare plan was set up, as we talked about before, back in 2010, was set up to be a 15-year uh, contract or term, and that at the end of this year, that without any rate increase is what we've talked about. So for 15 years, people on Obamacare pay the same rate.
Right.
We don't get that, do we? We
No.
pay. So they've already gotten that sweet deal. Now, to be on Obamacare, you may have other reasons that doesn't make life so sweet. So I don't want to minimize that. However, Obamacare was to make sure everybody had insurance, and despite the lies that Obama told about the costs of it and keeping your own doctor, same doctor, all that nonsense, uh, the rate was in check for 15 years. Now it's about to go up, and the Democrats are saying this to keep the government open. We got to keep those in line, or we got to contribute more
Right.
money, or whatever, to not have that impact to be so severe. And the conservatives have said, that's your deal. You guys are the ones that created Obamacare,
Right.
and you agreed to the contract. Now you're saying you don't want it to end. So it's got to end. So all that said, the shutdown has ended for, again, about what is that, 60, 75 days. As Trump said last night, the Democrats that fought so hard to keep this government shut down didn't get anything.
Right.
They didn't get. They signed the same continuing resolution, also known as a CR, last night, that they could have signed 40 days ago.
So help me with this Democrat question. In the Senate, 8 came over and went with the Republicans. In the House, 2 went with the Republican side. So you got 8 out of 100 and you got 2 out of 252. What's the difference
Well,
you find there?
well, I think the balance of the numbers in the House are 400
I mean, 450. Yeah.
yeah, so there are 400 and some odd House of Representatives over there. So there just the balance of those numbers. So there's more room for people to go to the other side or whatever, and it not impact the vote of getting it passed or not passed. But in the Senate, it's much, particularly when you have to have 60 votes.
Right.
So you got a much more restrictive, uh, you don't have margin of error. Let's put it that way. There's not that much room there. So I think it was actually six that came over at final tally. I'll double check that, but because I know there was talk of eight of them, but I think six of them, or it might have been that there was eight of them that came over to the conservatives, and two conservatives voted to have it shut down, and so a net gain of six. That may have been what it
There you
was.
go.
But we had two Republicans just held firm. That is Tom Massey of Kentucky and I believe Rand Paul of Kentucky. Both stayed, keep it shut down that they didn't want this to happen. But the vote total, the votes last night got us over the top.
Right.
So the people are back to work at the air traffic controllers, and money's being paid to the military. So we're back. Now the question will be: are we gonna go through this again? There's every indication or every reason to believe that the left hasn't learned anything here, and that we'll do it again. But the
January
truth is,
30.
January 30th. Yeah, the truth is, right now, I just read a story before I came over here that says that literally, this is from a number of Democrats saying literally the Democrat Party is breaking apart as we speak. And what comes to my mind, although it's kind of a morbid thought, is when you see an airplane or hear about an airplane crashing, that it was falling apart in the sky. And that's what I envision seeing in my mind's eye about what's going on with the Democrats, that it's literally breaking apart. We know Schumer is going to be run out of town. And we know Hakeem Jeffries is getting all kinds of flack. We know what's going on in New York City. We know AOC is chomping at the bit to replace Schumer as the speaker, as the
Senator.
minority leader, in the Senate, and others, Jasmine Crockett, which we're going to talk about in a little while. But it's incredible what's happening here. And so the left, the conservatives, I think, really stuck together in this case,
Right.
other than those two I mentioned. But the left is just, it literally is splitting apart. So we'll see what happens there, and we'll keep you informed about what we learn. I want to also mention there's a news report out this morning with respect to Mack Rhoades, the Baylor athletic director, who happens to also be the chair of the college football playoff committee. He has stepped down as the chair of that committee and is under investigation at Baylor for inappropriate behavior. And there's nothing that's come up with the typical affairs and women on the side kind of thing, but it's about putting his hands on Triggs, their tight end, as he was heading out on the field in a game against Arizona State last year. And then he's also accused of being physical with an assistant coach, neither of which are acceptable in any setting, including football. So Mack Rhoades is under duress, let's say, under investigation. He's stepping down as the college football chair, which right now that's really coming into they've already started naming every Tuesday night. I didn't see it this past. Oh yeah, I did. It's the same top four, but this is when this committee does its work. So it's interesting timing here for the committee.
Is Condoleezza Rice still on that committee?
That's a good question. She was for the longest time. Something tells me that she stepped down, but we'll have to double check. I mean, it would be good to know who's on that committee. Most of them are athletic directors, but there are some like her that are not. But that's the latest on Mack Rhoades. In terms of Tarnations, you got any today?
Yeah, I got kind of a short one. The newspaper is full of post-mortem about Marshawn Nealand.
Yeah.
But it's also post-mortem of the Mavericks and Rico.
Yeah.
I mean, Nico. And I was reading that we all know that the fans were regularly shouting Fire Nico.
Yeah, now
But
what about
but I never heard this before. And Sam, you watch the games more. What about home game Dallas Maverick fans booing our players at the free throw line? What do you got there?
My mic was off. So I don't remember who we were playing. I think it was it was Monday night actually. Yeah, versus the Bucks. PJ, we're down by 2. PJ Washington gets fouled as the timer runs out on a 3-point shot. He goes to the line, and our whole stadium is screaming "Fire Nico." He makes the first one and just bricks the second one. It was so hard to watch because knowing that when you play at home, it's going to be harder than when you play away.
He
That's
said it was hard at the line,
it,
but so they weren't booing. They were
no, I didn't hear any booing. I heard
okay.
just "Fire Nico," but it's still
Okay.
distracting and
Well, yeah.
disrespectful, in
Okay.
my opinion. That's the reason we lost that game. He could have made those free throws, but yeah, it's rough. That's why they needed to fire Nico because Cooper Flagg and his development doesn't need to deal with that at home games all the
Right.
time.
Yeah.
So
True. I agree. So was that your Tarnation?
That was
Yep.
it. That's all
All
I
right, I
really
got just a couple here. Fetterman, John Fetterman now because of his stance on the shutdown and other indications of him being more like-minded with the Republicans in the Senate. Uh, he's been banned from MSNBC, which I find interesting. I mean, you don't toe the company line there, you get banished. Is that a word?
It is.
And so MSNBC, which is now called MSNOW, MS Now, because MSNBC was sold, that part of the company that was sold. They don't want anything to do with Fetterman, and he was
I
their
found that
golden child.
station on my Sirius just to the left of the Fox, and they still got the old
Do the
name on there.
MSNBC.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may go into effect like January 1st.
we have a comment from Terry. It says Marshawn's girlfriend is expecting his baby. They just found or they found out. So
Yeah, and I
it's a sad
saw
situation.
Terry may also confirm this, but I saw where a lot of the Cowboys are helping pay and
I would
financially
imagine.
assist her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a terrible, terrible story. But Fetterman, I say this, Fetterman, if we had more John Fettermans, although I probably disagree with him on 75% and 90% or whatever percent above 75 for sure, where he stands on things, he has proven to be the kind of sensible, reasonable politician that can help us move things along in this country because he's not always wanting to be heard. He's not always loudmouth. He's not always screeching. He's sensible and he's logical and he gives a reason for his beliefs. That's what we need. So I applaud him for the stand that he's taken, and he's always been led the charge on this shutdown from the left as to we got to stop this.
Does he hold office? Any type of
He's a
office?
senator.
He's a senator
Yeah, he's a
for.
senator
Oh, okay.
for in Pennsylvania.
I got you.
Disney and YouTube TV. So we've been YouTube TV users for, golly, 3 years now and loved it. But as you may know, YouTube TV, which YouTube is owned by, it's either,
It's not Google, is it?
yeah, I think it is Google. So it's got significant financial backing and prosperity. And then you got Disney, which isn't, it used to be, but isn't so much anymore, now in a fight because they can't agree on whatever the specifics are that are keeping them apart. And Disney includes ESPN. So the reason, I mean, most men in America, I think it's fair to say, and a percentage of women want ESPN and whatever package they're getting. And
Right.
if you're a mother or a father and you got kids, you want Disney and the other things that come with it. So, sure enough, we get ESPN taken away from us because we had YouTube TV, and I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. So we signed up for DirecTV, which is what we had before, but only the streaming. We still get all the channels, but we don't. It doesn't require us to have our disc or our whatever out there.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard this, because Jonna has YouTube TV too. She mentioned that YouTube was sending $20.
Yeah, 20. I got an email saying,
Okay.
if you essentially if you stick with us, we'll give you $20 credit. I mean, we'll stick with it for a little bit, but not because
Okay.
of familiarity. I know how to use it.
Yeah.
DirecTV takes some time, but it's insane to me that they are willing to just say, "Oh, we're going to blow this up, and we can't strike a deal on keeping ESPN and Disney in our package." It doesn't make any sense. Send me, cue up the video with Kamala Harris. We could spend all day talking about Tarnations relative to Kamala Harris, but this is she's on her book tour. She's running her mouth. She's saying a bunch of words, but not saying much. This is a video of her in an interview talking about the campaign, and she wants us to believe that she was 1, 2, 3, 5 steps ahead of Trump in this campaign, and I just thought you guys would get a kick out of hearing it. Sammy, play it.
Was aware of my opponent's strategy, and I wasn't about to fall prey or fall into those traps. And part of his strategy and those around him was to try and take me off our game and message. And I wasn't about to be distracted by those flames that he was trying to throw to get me away from my highest priority, which was talking to people about the economy and their well-being in terms of their financial well-being. And so I understood the game that was being played, and I made a decision that I wasn't going to get played. And
chess, not checkers. Got it.
chess, not checkers. Yeah, three-dimensional chess. I'm telling you. And
She was talking about there at the end. You may not have heard it. That it was a high-level game of chess, and she was playing it, essentially, paraphrasing. I do not. I continue to be. I'm more. I don't know if I'm more mesmerized, entertained, or flabbergasted when I hear people like Kamala Harris say things. Gavin Newsom's the same way, and there are a whole host of them. And because there's nobody, obviously, there's nobody around them to say, Kamala, if you were doing that, yeah, man, that your message. You might not. I don't want to do that, because she's talking about how she wasn't getting played in a campaign where she was getting played from every which angle, even including her own party was playing her and using her as a useful idiot. So she says in that thing that she wanted to talk about the economy and how people were doing. Well, she was the vice president over an economy that was killing people. I mean, not killing people literally, but hurting people in their pocketbooks. So it's just a tarnation in the craziest sense. And I thank God in a way for Kamala Harris, because if you're ever feeling down, you want a good laugh, just search Kamala Harris, whatever you want, quip, soundbite,
Yeah.
and you'll get a
And
laugh.
speaking of laughs, I chuckled when I heard this early. Remember when we used to talk about her nervous laugh that she put?
Yeah, that cackle.
Cackle. And
Yeah.
instead of saying that
Yeah.
was her little crutch.
Yeah.
She said it once right at the very beginning. At the end, she said it, but then the other gal started laughing, so it kind of covered it up.
Right.
What had happened?
Yeah,
there.
it's I tell you, if Kamala Harris runs for president 2028 and Gavin Newsom, which is almost assured, runs for president 2028, you throw in Buttigieg, however you say his name, and the other usual suspect, this is going to be quite the show. But Kamala and Gavin Newsom, same person, different body. And you talk about entertaining, to
Same
say the
state,
least.
same state.
Yeah, same state too. All right. Is America headed for a cultural civil war? Now, when we think civil war in this country, we think 1865, 64, Abraham Lincoln, slavery,
Right.
and so on and so forth. We think about Gettysburg. We think about awful death and that kind of death there, unlike what we see in the Middle East today, well, that includes torture and other things. The death associated with civil war was just about famine, about being in freezing temperatures with nothing, and people dying both violently and because of the conditions. And so that's what we think of civil war. So I'm not asking the question in that context. I'm asking the question, are we witnessing the beginning of a civil war in this country?
Well, and that civil war was over geography. It was over issues, slavery being the biggest issue. But today, if we had a civil war, rather than it would be a geopolitical, not a geography. It'd be a political civil war, and it's easy to say it wouldn't be violent, but I think the way things are heating up, I think it would be violent. And the worst part about that is, then it's like, who do you trust? My neighbor, my friend,
Yeah.
my teacher, my church mate,
Right.
um, and then you're pitting family against family.
Yeah.
Remember the discord that many families felt. I was part of that. Um, After the election, with the bitterness
Mhm.
of the liberals and tearing people apart, and people saying don't get together at Thanksgiving as a family because
Right.
it's just too hot. Um, there's plenty of families that don't share the same political beliefs,
Yeah.
and so I think it would be in many ways a uh, I won't say worse, equally tragic civil war, because people are going to start, if the violence starts, people are hunkering down, okay? And your Republicans who have not been involved in any of this political violence, they're a big portion of the gun-toting people in this country, and they'll be offended by the whole thing, and
Mhm.
they'll find a need to say, well, I can't tolerate that, and I'm standing up not just for myself, but for all conservatives in the world, in the
Yeah.
country. So it's a scary notion.
Well, the that would definitely, and we've seen it already from Charlie Kirk's assassination to what just happened on Berkeley's campus this week, where Antifa, I've heard so many people say it different ways, but Antifa, uh, in a bloody, violent fight, literal fight with Turning Point USA as they were getting prepared to host an event there. So we see the components, well, we see elements of violence. The Civil War of 18 that we're talking about with Abraham Lincoln was about issues, but it was fought violently.
Or
In
yeah.
this case, we're talking about what for a number of years leading up to where we are right now has been more of a subtle, the old put a frog in the cool pan of water and turn up the heat and it'll eventually die. That's what we've had happen leading up to where we are now, in my opinion. And so now we get the assassination of Charlie Kirk by someone on the left. We see Antifa. It requires the National Guard in these cities to come in and shut them down. We see Mamdani, a self-proclaimed communist, being voted in as mayor of New York. There's no more subtlety. It's happening here, and in a subtle sense, if you think of being the frog, I think the conservative Republicans in this country, the conservative movement, we've been that frog. We really have. We've
Mhm.
stayed nice. We're the gun-toting people of a political movement, but we're not out there assassinating people. You know, if the role, let's pretend for a second that Mamdani is Charlie Kirk for the left. So he is for them, and I think there's probably not even a pretense to that, that maybe Charlie Kirk is to the left. I'm sorry, Mamdani is to the left what Charlie Kirk was or is to the right. And so if that's true, and I believe it is, I could argue, I think, win an argument that says he is as important to the left, Mamdani, as Charlie was to us, because he is fighting back, or he's fighting for a movement, and totally opposite ends of the spectrum with respect to what they were fighting for. But what if somebody on the right got up on some building in New York City and took out Mamdani? I don't want that to happen, obviously, and not advocating that. But what would happen? Literally, what do we think would happen if somebody violently did something to Mamdani? What would the left do? You talking about it would be an immediate violent war, in my opinion. Now, I use war. No, I don't like people to talk about, oh, that football game, that was a war. Well, that's disrespectful to
Mhm.
our military. So I don't know that I would call it a war, but I'd certainly call it a battle. Uh, uh, when Charlie Kirk was killed, we still haven't gone out and killed anybody. to get
Right,
back.
right.
But the left, if Mom Donnie, again, their Charlie Kirk was injured, killed, whatever, as Sammy was nodding his head, there would be immediate violent response.
And let's remember that the Republicans did have a little bit of a mean streak in them with the January 6th
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah,
Also.
and in that case, the people that were killed, the one lady that was killed was shot by a cop up there.
Right.
But and that's been magnified by the left's description of the January the 6th. So, I saw a clip the other night of a news report that literally left out what Trump said about January 6th and going there peacefully. They took it all out. And so, they have a way of inflaming and magnifying that. But I think it's fair to say that if you're a strategist on the left and you say, we got to take over this country, you got to have a home base. You got to have a place wherever it's like in tag. Remember, you used to run to whatever was
Right.
safe. They've got to have a base, and I think they've established it by luck, maybe, but certainly probably more by strategy. That New York's going to be our base, New York City,
The
and
city's so nice they named it twice.
yeah, and so that's where the base is now, and for the left, in my opinion, and so this civil battle, let's call it that, I think is underway. And that's why it's important and why we do what we do. We may have a small influence in a small sphere of or small footprint of reach, but if we do this enough across the country, then we can begin to have an impact. So the things going on out there, we ought to pay attention to. And Mom Donnie is going to lead to the next Mom Donnie. AOC is jockeying to become Chuck Schumer. We're going to talk about Jasmine Crockett and what she's trying to do in the state of Texas, of all places. So I think it's pretty safe to say that we've got the beginnings of a civil battle in this country, geopolitical, as you say.
Yeah, and I was preparing to do the Substack that will be in tomorrow's,
Yes,
and it was about describe the title.
power. It's about people who
the
in
roots
power.
of power, and you took a stance that I was a little bit surprised at, that every office down to a dog catcher should only be held by a born in this country citizen. And then, I feel that there's still a place for immigrants. And Rita and I were talking, and she said, well, how long has Modami been a citizen? I said, well, he came, I'd done a little bit of looking at it. He came from Uganda with his family when he was 7, and he's now mid-30s.
Right.
Okay. But when he became a citizen?
It wasn't that long ago, was it?
2018.
Yeah. Yeah.
2018.
Right.
So 11, and so he was 25 years old.
Yeah. And in the state assembly in New York, where he did nothing. So if you're a strategist and you say, let's say we're the old guard on the left, and we at least have enough wisdom to say, you know what, our time is run out here. If we want the Democratic Party and the left in America to become more in your face socialist, which Bernie Sanders and AOC, that whole faction is growing by the day. That's what they want the left to become.
How old is that guy?
Bernie's 80 something. So
hang it up.
So we've got to find somebody to be our flag bearer, and they found Mom Donnie. And so in the column, just one, my column is about I make the case for no elected official in the United States of America should be able to hold office. The only office where you have to be born in America to hold it, you know which one that is?
Well, President and
of
Vice
the United
President.
States.
And in Congress, I think it's 9 years for Senate and 7 years for representative.
What, you have to be a citizen?
Yeah.
That long? Yeah. And you have to be, for president, you have to be a certain age and that sort of thing. So if I make the argument that a president obviously impacts us all, I make an argument that we're more impacted by especially in Waxahachie, by our city council.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if a little Mom Donnie was running in Waxahachie to hold city council, he was born in Uganda. He's espousing socialist communist views, and he wants to run for council. Uh, no way, no how should that
Well,
happen.
we're just up to the sensibility of the electorate,
Well,
and
yeah,
hope
which is a scary proposition. Yeah, but so I'm
less
saying,
less so here than in some places. But
well, yeah, I agree there. But we don't have enough. I think we have smart voters, but we don't have enough of them to come out and vote. So what I'm saying with my case, the case I'm making is that to safeguard this country from the Mamdanis, the Ilhan Omars, the uh, Talib, the others we got some guy, I forget which state he's from. He's Indian, and he's a whack job. And so I'm saying this country's in my column. This country's got to be kept safe. The moat around it is that you have to be born in America to hold office in America. That does not guarantee that we won't have loonies holding office,
right.
but at least we have we can say that the Mamdanis, it would keep the Mamdanis uh, from doing what he's about to start doing. He's going to destroy New York City.
Well, when we had this conversation, we kind of came up with the idea. I was really following with Rita's notion that 20 years at a citizenship is a good mark to hold.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a compromise where you would say, okay, 20, 25 years, 30 years, at least you're American enough. It's like Sammy was born in Cleveland, but there's nothing Cleveland about Sammy.
Right.
He's been in Texas all but 1 year of his 21 years of life. Well, maybe 2 years because when you were born. But so Sammy is 21 years old, spent 19 years in Texas. What is he? Is in that case he's a Texan. Uh, but that's because he spent so long. So you make a good point. If you're here long enough, you're going to be almost like you were born here.
Yeah.
So I say we be mindful in our own little families, our own jobs, our own churches, that there's a lot at stake here. And the worst time to be disassociated with or disconnected from what's going on politically in this country is today.
You know what I like about the word mindful?
What's that?
It's kind of all about thinking.
Yeah, critical thinking.
Yeah.
People don't critical think enough.
Yeah.
And that the whole purpose of my writing is to say, stop what you're doing and just think about this. And if I have to use something that shocks the system to get it there, at least get people on that track, I'm willing to do it. So there you go. Let's talk about Jasmine Crockett. Sammy, what's the other video that you have? I can't remember. Okay. Oh yeah. You know what? Before we get to Jasmine Crockett, let's have a little bit of fun real
Okay,
quick. All
let's
right.
have-
So I want you guys. We're going to switch gears here. We're going to go to some football action. So for those of you that don't look football, just indulge us for just a few minutes. This is a video you're going to see first about a guy who is making the case for the top 5 Heisman candidates as we speak. Tell me when you got it, Sam. All right, let's play it.
This would be my Heisman ballot if the season ended today. At the number 5 spot, Jacob Rodriguez. Rodriguez has been one of the best players in the nation, no matter the position. He leads one of the best defenses in the nation and leads the nation in forced fumbles with 7. At the number 4 spot, Marcel Reed. Reed has been one of the most dynamic players in college football and has led the Aggies to an undefeated season
He's
so
a quarterback
far
for the Aggies.
with nearly 2,200 passing yards and 25 total touchdowns. At the number 3 spot, Julian Sand. No player has probably improved more than Sand has from week 1. Ohio State is winning games because of him. He leads the nation in completion percentage, completing 80% of his passes, which is unheard of. At the number 2 spot, Fernando Mendoza. Mendoza had his Heisman moment versus Penn State on the final drive last week. He was surgical on that drive with the throw and catch of the year to Omar Cooper to take the lead. And at my number 1 spot, Ty Simpson. Simpson has been the most clutch player
Alabama
in the nation. Led his team to 2 major wins on the road against Georgia and Mizzou. He's thrown for nearly 2,500 passing yards with 21 touchdowns and only 1 interception. He's the main reason Bama is back to This
Touchdown to interception ratio is probably the number one way to
Yeah, he's had one interception
rank
all
a
year.
quarterback.
Bama struggled recently. Last week we struggled big time against LSU, and we won. We got our biggest test of the year Saturday afternoon at 2:30. Oklahoma comes to town.
Those were all quarterbacks, correct?
Those were all
It was the
quarterbacks.
Texas Tech
Well, no, the
QB.
last one wasn't. The first one,
First guy was a
the
lineman.
fifth one, Caleb
Texas Tech.
Rodriguez.
Is he a wide receiver? What is he?
No, he's a defensive player.
Oh, okay.
So you have that there, and I'm okay with that. Let me just briefly tell you, this is from let's see, Bill Connolly, who is with, can't remember what organization. He's a sports writer out there. He's been around for a long time. Here are his top 20 quarterbacks, starting with number 20. All right, we'll go through these really quickly because most of these you haven't heard of. Number 20, C.J. Bailey, North Carolina State. Number 19, Devon Dampier, Utah. Number 18, Sawyer Robinson, Baylor. Again, these are the power rankings for the top quarterbacks in the NCAA. Number 17, Dante Moore, Oregon. Number 16, Luke Altmaier, Illinois. Number 15, Darian Mensah, plays for Duke. Number 14, Desmond Williams Jr., plays for Washington. Number 12, now he just had Marcel Reed at 4. This guy, Bill Connolly, has Marcel Reed as the 12th best quarterback in America, the quarterback for A&M. Number 11, Ty Simpson. This guy has Ty Simpson.
Out of the top 10?
Out of the top 10, that guy we just heard has Simpson as the number 1 candidate for winning the Heisman. This guy has him at number 11 in the rankings in his mind. Number 10, Talon Green. You know who that is?
No.
Arkansas. Number 9, Brendan Sorsby, Cincinnati. Number 8, Trinidad Chambliss, Ole Miss. Number 7, C.J. Carr. You know who he plays for?
No.
Notre Dame. And number 6, oh, where's number? What number?
Might
6?
be at like the top. But sometimes it's weird.
Number 6 is Gunner for Georgia.
Stockton. Gunner Stockton.
Gunner Stockton. Number 8, Jaden Maeva. I don't know how to say it. Maeva, USC. Number 4, Diego Pavia, Vanderbilt. Number 3, Fernando Mendoza, Indiana, who he had at number 2, right? Number 2 on this guy's list is Haynes King, Georgia Tech. Now, he's having a great year. They've only lost 1, and he's got great stats. He was the quarterback at A&M.
Okay.
And then left because it wasn't going well with what's his name, the
Fisher.
coach. Yeah. So he's number 2. The number 1 quarterback
Miami. Did I guess it?
is
Miami quarterback.
hang on, where's my
Drum roll, please.
wait a minute.
I hear people
I ranked-
turning their
yeah.
dial off of our show.
Who do you say, Sammy?
Carson, the man Beck.
Wrong.
Oh.
Number 1 quarterback, according to Bill Connolly, in the country is Julian Sayin,
Julian Sayin.
Ohio State.
So your
Whoever
number 1
wrote
didn't
that-
get in the top 20 of him.
And Julian Sayin wasn't even in his top 5, was he?
Yes, he was.
Oh, wasn't probably number 3.
Whoever did that doesn't need to ever do that again.
Julian Sayin, you know who recruited him? Nick Saban, Alabama. He was at Alabama.
He transferred, yeah.
So there you have our little sports bleep or blurb, whatever you want to call it. And thank you for indulging us. All right, we're going to skip Miss Crockett. Other than, I'll set it up this way.
I want to say something about her too.
About Crockett?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go ahead.
Well, I mean, she's in favor of defund the police, right?
Yes.
Hasn't she spent money and $50,000?
So I don't want to steal our thunder from
Next week.
Oh,
but
my
there
bad.
are some things. So here's the setup. What a Crockett is, because of gerrymandering in the state of Texas, her district is being combined with another district right next to hers. And if she wants to run and keep that seat, she's got to run against a buddy, as we were talking about, a pal, to hold her seat in the House of Representatives. She's being pushed and encouraged. She's a useful idiot by those on the left, much like Mom Donnie, to run for Senate against John Cornyn. She's got to win the primary first. I don't know who would be facing her in the primary in March in the Democrat Party, but we know John Cornyn is running again. So ultimately, if she were to win the Democratic nomination in the primary, she would face John Cornyn this time next year. and that would be quite entertaining. But we're going to talk more about Jasmine Crockett. We've talked about her in here before a lot. We would love for her to come in here and talk to us. She'll never do that. We'll roast her. I mean, just naturally. The woman is not very bright. She may.
Now you keep saying that, and then she'll never come on our show,
Well,
Scott.
I'm saying it so she will. It's that old bait somebody. I mean, I'll say you're smart and intelligent and can whoop us. That ain't gonna get her in here because she agrees with it. But if I say something like she ain't got any sense, she
And you're
flips the ghetto.
attractive and witty, but make dumb comments. Oh,
Yeah, exactly. And you flip over to ghettohood, in a split second, and you're just outrageous and you're disrespectful, impolite, disgusting. Whatever it takes for you to come in, we love to. You're just right down the street. But anyway, we're going to talk about her, the prospects of her running for the Senate in the state of Texas. In Texas, we stand for things. And in Texas, despite all this talk by Beto and these other morons about we're becoming purple, we're not becoming purple. And so we're going to talk more about that. All right. So there you have it. Let me see. Oh, I wanted to tell you, I meant to say this. Do you know how much on the YouTube TV and Disney issue, ESPN issue, the impact on Disney?
0.
Disney's losing $30 million a week because they're not on YouTube TV. That's with advertising, whatever other ways. A week. Disney losing $30 million a week as YouTube TV blackout drags on, analysts say. That is pretty remarkable.
can I tell you something about YouTube?
Yeah.
Before I ever became associated with the show
Yeah.
on YouTube, I have a YouTube video of my own that I posted in about 2008.
Yeah.
All of us at home, please write this down and look it up yourself. But Sam, I want you to bring this for next week.
Yeah, we need to see that.
Okay. It's called, I tried to make it something that I thought wasn't sexual, but would draw people to the title. Okay. It's called Lips to Lips is How I Feed Carrots to My Horse.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll find it. Sammy has from way back when that was the only thing we really had when Sammy was a little boy. I used to video him on YouTube all the time. So there are a number of videos. Sammy, matter of fact, Toby Mac, the big time gospel singer, posted it on his stuff of Sammy imitating him when he was maybe 4 or 5 or 6, something like that. It's awesome. All right, time for a poem, Jeffrey.
There's a reason I'm wearing my Buffalo Bills here today, and it's not just in honor of Scott because he lived there and he loves it. And he's got a lot of his heart there. But some time ago, way before we were ever doing a show, and we were just having a friendship, sitting around chatting in the office, and we were, I kept putting poems in the paper, and he said, Jeff, you need to find a way to monetize your writing because it seems like you can write a poem about whatever you want, whenever I want. And that's a theme that I teach kids in the poetry writing. He said, let's try something. I'm going to give you 5 facts about somebody, and I want you to write a poem about that person. Okay. So he gave me 5 facts, and I wrote this poem about one of his dearest friends by the name of Maury. And it goes something like this. If you ever met Maury, you won't be sorry. So off to Buffalo you must go. They've got lake effects of snow. Yikes, what a way to go. However, the sight of Lake Erie won't leave you weary. It's called a Great Lake, and that isn't a mistake. Maury follows all the New York sports teams, but it's the Sabres and the Bills that give him the thrills. In '99, Buffalo's Pucksters got to Game 7, a game away from Stanley Cup heaven. Brett Hull had his foot in the crease, but no, said the striped police. Maury has worked a long time at the Buffalo News. This man sells ads, and he sells them by the scads. Maury's word is his bond. A handshake seals the deal. Of course, the News needs a signed contract to make it all real. He's Scott Brooks's best friend. They'll be pals to the end. Scott has now escaped from the snow. Off to Bama and Texas did he go. Scott asked me to pen this ballad using facts that are all valid about a mighty fine guy and not make him cry.
Yeah, that's an awesome poem, and you know, everybody should, much like Jeff, everybody should have a friend like Maury. You know, he is the end. How two people can be so different and yet gel so well will always be a mystery to me. And
Right.
Maury is the antithesis of how and just professionally, well, personally too, but professionally, Maury worked for the same company for 40 years. I may have been 42, but I think it's 40 years. I flew up and spoke at his retirement party. Lots of people showed up. But he's been married to the same woman his whole adult life. Lived in two houses. His pre-marriage house and his post-marriage house. Two houses. I've lived in two houses in 3 months in my life, but Maury and I have we talk about soulmates in terms of husband and wife, male and female, but I think it's probably as apt or maybe even more so when it comes to friends.
Right.
And there's no doubt that there's a connection with our souls, and he has enriched my life in ways that that poem does capture, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that a lot. So
Terry says very good job, Jeff.
Thank
Yeah.
you. And I'll tell you, people out here in listening land, if you ever want as a gift to somebody,
Yeah.
send me to jeff@waxahachie.son. Tell me what you want. I've written over a dozen things for birthdays, marriages, and births.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, they're cool things to Jeff can help, design them. We can put them on cool paper, get them framed, and you have it there forever. And it's a really nice gift for people. So excellent, excellent. All right, what do you got for day in
Today in
history?
history, Thursday, November 13th, Big Man went 8-2 on 8 questions. I had a couple bonuses that got me there. And we start with, pardon me, during the Revolutionary War, American troops under the command of Continental Army General Richard Montgomery captured Montreal.
Read it one more time. I'm sorry.
During the Revolutionary
Okay, yeah.
War, American troops under the command of Continental Army General Richard Montgomery captured Montreal. We were not the
Yeah.
United States at that point,
Right.
and
Oh, we
you know
weren't.
the French were involved
Yeah.
here, and so
Okay, I have no idea when. I'm gonna go 1808.
I'm going to say 1800.
1775 Continental Congress.
Yeah.
Oh,
Continental Congress.
I
Come
was
on.
about to say like 1910 or something.
450 men and boys were killed when fire erupted inside a coal mine in Cherry, Illinois. Can you imagine dying from a
No,
fire
I
in
can't
a
imagine
coal mine?
being in a mine.
1831.
1849.
1909.
Wow.
That's sad.
The U.S. Supreme Court affirmed a lower court ruling that found Alabama bus segregation laws were illegal.
1955.
1950.
53.
Good deal.
Okay. This one threw me off. I didn't like getting it wrong. The U.S. space probe Mariner 9 went into orbit around Mars, becoming the first spacecraft to orbit another planet.
I'm
79.
gonna go 59.
71.
Missed it
That's
by
when
1 year.
Sonya was born.
We put the man on the
Yeah.
moon in 69,
Yeah.
and 2 years later, we sent something up circling around Mars.
Yeah.
We thought, we can do anything, can't we?
Yeah. We can.
Yeah,
Which makes me wonder why we don't have a cure for baldness.
we do. It's called hats.
No.
Boom! Boom, bada, boom,
Well,
boom.
I told y'all a couple of weeks ago that there is a serum that's being worked. It's working on mice. Give it to me now. I'll take the risk.
That's funny.
The Vietnam Veterans Memorial was dedicated on the National Mall in Washington, D.C.
19. 83.
1974.
82.
Oh,
Good
dang.
one,
Good
Sam.
work.
Man, I missed that. I'm 1 and 4.
Some 23,000 residents of Armero, Colombia died when a volcanic mudslide buried the city. I don't remember that at all. I guessed my way into it, but
It's going to be 91.
2000.
89.
Okay.
Sammy's killing it.
Islamic State militants carried out a set of coordinated attacks in Paris at the National Stadium, in a crowded concert hall, in restaurants, and on streets, killing 130 people in the worst attack on French soil since World War II.
That's going to be 99.
2017.
15.
Oh, we took a big old chunk. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Don't let me down.
This the last one?
It's the last one.
All right.
Get you a bonus. And you know it's more current than 2015. So you
Okay.
got some time to work with. 4 University of Idaho students were fatally stabbed in their off-campus rental home in Moscow, Idaho. A suspect, Brian Kohlberger, who pleaded guilty to the murders in 2025
Yeah.
in a deal with prosecutors to avoid the death penalty, and was handed 4 life sentences. So when was the attack?
22.
November the 13th, 2022.
Sam said with Definity, and you had to top him by going November 13th.
Exactly.
We already knew it. Yeah.
He had the.
Well, he knew- you knew the day, too.
Yeah, you're right.
3
Good
and
job.
5.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Chalk up your bonus there. Tally them
Yeah,
up.
Sammy did good.
1,
Sammy
2,
did really
3,
good.
4, 5, 5 and 4.
Okay.
5 and 3, I think.
All
5
right.
and 3.
Okay. Our true
All right.
facts that sound like bull wacky, whatever you want to call it. You ready?
Maloney.
It's similar to what we had the other day, which if you remember the other day, I said
That
the
was a
capital
weird
of
one.
Nevada is west of Los
I
Angeles.
still don't understand that at all.
You got to look at the map. So
Yeah.
look at the map and you'll see it.
I
All
got
right, you ready
maps
for this
right
one?
here.
All right.
A majority of Canadians live south of Seattle.
A majority.
A majority of Canadians, Canada goes from the
Can I look at
west.
the atlas?
No, goes from the west coast to the east coast. Same width as our country. All right, roughly speaking. Seattle is in Washington. It is near the top of Washington. All right. So again, the true or false, a majority of Canadians live south of Seattle.
What, like, I'm confused. I'm gonna say
Why are you
If you
confused?
if you took a line from Seattle and went straight across the atlas or the globe, he's saying that the majority of their citizens live
Live
south of there.
south of that.
So are
so
there
in the U.S.
no? There are, for instance, here. Let me. I'm going to give you my case for true.
Okay, so you think it's true?
Vancouver, Canada is south of there. Toronto is south of there. Quebec is south of there. And I don't
Not
think
all those, but Vancouver's not south of Seattle. Can't be because it's above Seattle.
that's true.
But here's and we used to tout this in Buffalo that within 500 miles of Toronto, by example, lives, I can't remember what the number, 80% of Canadian population.
Yeah, it's
And
it's
so
true.
so the answer is true.
Yeah.
Sounds weird, but it's true. Northern Canada is largely wilderness, while southern
Oh.
Canada, particularly the area around the Great
Mhm.
Lakes, contains many major metropolises.
Superior,
I
Wisconsin.
didn't hear
Yeah,
any
you got
stories or anything like that
you
in
got
Seattle.
Detroit, huh?
I didn't hear any stories in Seattle when I was there.
You know any stories?
Sorry, you know how they say sorry?
No, I don't know
I
what
didn't,
you're
I
talking
didn't
about.
hear any Canadian or
Oh.
meet any Canadian people.
Yeah,
when I-
no. But anyway, so you got Windsor, which is by Detroit.
Yeah.
You got Toronto, which is near Buffalo. Tens, hundreds of thousands, millions of people live in those areas.
Yeah.
So there you go. Learn something new every day.
All right.
Thank you for being here. We'll be back next Tuesday at noon, at which time we'll tell you a lot more that we're learned, and we hope that you enjoyed learning it as well. So there you go.
Have a great day and try to put a smile on somebody's face. Amen.